Welcome back to the Profitable Play podcast. It's me, your host, Michelle Caruana. And today I'm excited to bring to you a conversation that I've been looking forward to for a really long time. So, in this interview today, I'm sitting down with Justine, the owner of Live and Mimi's Play Cafe. And some of you may recognize Justine either from TikTok or Instagram or as an active member inside our Playmaker Society community. Now, Justine recently celebrated 2 years in business a couple months ago, so congratulations to her. But what I enjoyed most about this interview and what I think you'll enjoy is just how refreshingly honest and specific Justine gets about what's worked and what hasn't worked over those last 2 years and what she wishes she had done sooner. But one of the areas where Justine absolutely shines in, and one of the reasons I asked her to come on this podcast, is retail. Now, to be honest, I don't talk enough about retail on this podcast or on my YouTube channel, but I want to change that because Justine has really opened my eyes to just how substantial retail sales can be for a play cafe. And to give you a little background, and don't worry, we'll get into the details. Before opening her play cafe, Justine spent years in merchandising and retail, and she has since used that expertise and experience to turn what was once a small retail corner into a powerful revenue stream for her business. So powerful, in fact, that she actually expanded her physical space to accommodate her growing retail business. So, in this episode, Justine is going to break down the exact strategies that helped her grow her retail sales, the products and brands that consistently perform well, what she's learned about display, pricing, and inventory flow, and working with local vendors as well as online, and how play based businesses can make retail profitable without it becoming overwhelming while selling both online and in person. We also talk through her biggest lessons from 2 years of ownership, from staffing and systems to local partnerships, birthday parties, and all the pivots that she's made as she's learned about her customers and her market. If you've been thinking about expanding your retail offerings, or if you feel like, you do okay, but you're just not reaching your potential when it comes to retail sales, this is an episode you don't want to miss, especially this time of year. I know you are going to walk away with practical and actionable strategies that you can start implementing immediately in time for the holidays. Now, I have linked all of Justine's social media accounts and her website and all of that in the show notes if you're listening as a podcast, or in the video description if you're watching on YouTube. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, Justine gives us a little tour of her retail area. It's so much bigger than I expected, and it's so clean and organized. So if you're a normal podcast listener, you might want to click the link in the show notes to watch as a video, even just this once. It's worth it, I promise. But you also want to follow along on social media so that you can see all of the amazing things that Justine is doing with retail and in all aspects of her business. So again, follow along using the links in the show notes or the video description. But without further ado, here is my interview with Justine, the owner of Live and Mimi's Play Cafe. Hi, Justine. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
I'm very excited to have you. So would you like to introduce yourself to everyone watching and listening?
Yes, I'm Justine John Baptiste, and I own Live in Mimi's Play Cafe in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And can you tell us a little bit about your space? So the size, how long you've been in business, just a little bit more so we can have some context.
Yes, so our space is for five and under. It's currently 2,600 square feet. We started with 1,400 and then expanded, and so now it's 26. And we are indoor play, and then we also have a retail boutique as well.
And can you tell us a little bit about that expansion? When did it happen? And did you say how long you've been in business?
Oh, no, I forgot that part. So we just hit our 2-year anniversary in October. So we opened in October of 2023. And so just hit 2 years. We expanded just last December. So our expansion is almost a year old. We rented the play side behind me first and outgrew it almost immediately. Birthday parties were like so crammed. And so my neighbor, I'm in a shopping center, and my neighbor next door had given me a heads up that she was not needing a retail space anymore. And so over Christmas break last year, we knocked down this wall and built a gate, and we expanded to this side. So almost a year now with the expansion.
And what kind of things have you added with that expansion?
So before, our tables were just kind of in the play area. We didn't have a designated wall. We used like a white kind of the white plastic soft play fences that you see at like soft play setups at birthday parties that are mobile. So we just used that for the birthday party separation. So since then, now we have a bigger party room. And then our retail boutique is actually probably a third of the new expanded space.
And how has that been going?
It's going so good. My background is in retail. I've had many, many jobs before I opened a Play Cafe. And so I am loving shopping for the retail space, styling it, switching things out. My customers are always complimenting us, like, you always have something new in here. So I really love that. I'm really excited now for Christmas shopping. Last December, I was pulling my numbers earlier. We did 25% of our sales last December were retail and gifts. And so I'm really excited for Black Friday coming up and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday. So it's going well.
Do you have any promotions? I know you mentioned you were thinking of a couple, but do you want to share any details?
Yeah, I actually am like running out of time. I need to get these posted, but we're gonna do quite a few promotions like kind of like doorbusters. We're not calling them doorbusters, but we're doing some gifts, some like branded merch, like a tote. I'm also doing like some coffee syrup things for people to like make their own coffee at home. And so the first five purchases over $50 on Friday get to pick from our like prize pile. And then our first five purchases on Saturday also get of $50 or more get to pick from our merch and prizes and things. I'll probably get some like coffee cards from local coffee shops around town too. And then we're also doing a free play pass to use like at another time with purchases of $75 or more. And so they can throw that in the gift if it's like grandma and grandpa. We're making like cute printable, not printable, they will be printed passes. Or if it's one of our current customers, then they get to just use it for themselves. So we're doing that, free coffee, like just Keurig brewed coffee. And then I feel like I have another one, but it's leaving me right now. But yeah.
I will link all of your social media accounts and we can kind of all follow you for the deals. But you mentioned that you did around 25% of your holiday sales last year in retail. Did you do similar sales last year, or is this something that you're kind of trying new?
Yeah, I did not. The only thing we did do the past two Christmases that have been really successful is a Black Friday Play Pass sale. Our Play Pass is normally 10 for 70, and we do it 10 for 50, just like those 3 or 4 days, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and then Cyber Monday. So 4 days, but I guess Sunday doesn't have a cute name. That one, people ask about it all year, and they're like, "When are you going to do Black Friday?" Like, I'm kind of paying like as I go because I really want the Black Friday special, or they buy multiples, or they gift them. So that's really all we had done our first two Christmas seasons, and this is our third. Because the retail was so small, it was just a corner. It was a very small corner in our space. And so we really didn't have a ton to like have any, and we didn't have a ton of inventory to have a doorbuster sale. I hate that term, but that's kind of what it is.
Everyone knows what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the people listening are, millennials, and
Yeah.
we know exactly what a doorbuster is.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening probably used to, thumb through the paper
Yes.
ads at the Thanksgiving table. So
Yeah. And be there at 6 in the morning at like Macy's or JC Penney.
I'm sure most people listening know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite retail vendors?
Oh, I do. So I have about 50% of my vendors are local,
Great.
and then 50% are just really great um, vendors that I found like through Fair, like wholesale buyers. So I love Earth Grown Kids dough. They sell so well. And I really was nervous because they sell, and I also love their packaging. So that means a lot to me in this play space because kids are touching everything and their sticky fingers and they're putting things in their mouths. So I really love a company who packages well and durable packaging that will last in our very touched and high traffic area. So Earth Grown Kids has these really great kits that are in a plastic resealable case and they were $24. And I really was nervous the first time I ordered because that's a lot for Play-Doh. People don't blink. People like they buy every single one that comes out. I've ordered from them multiple times. So I love Earth Grown Kids.
And
Baby Bliss.
really quick, when you say $24, is that wholesale or is that the customer price?
That's the cost. That's not wholesale. That is the retail price, suggested retail. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
then
for
you have
me, $24 feels like a lot for a Play-Doh kit that can like get dog hair in it or fall on the floor or dry up and get mixed. So, yeah, that one is one of my favorites. And then I love a lot of I'm looking at my retail space, like checking it out. Melissa and Doug, like they have a lot of great pretend play food. I really like them and learning resources. Learning resources has great food, but also like games, learning games, and they have a good price point too.
Lakeshore Learning and Learning Resources were some of my favorites.
Yes.
You started to say a baby name,
Oh, Baby Bliss.
Baby
Yes. So Baby Bliss, they do like silicone, like teethers, training spoons, training bowls, pacifier attachments, but they also have really great packaging too. So I love all their stuff is sealed because silicone, if it gets dust on it, it's nasty. It's like tacky. And so I love people like silicone products, but I don't like exposed silicone products in my boutique at all.
No, I totally understand. And you found most of those on Fair,
Yeah.
correct? Faire.
Yes. Yeah, so I love Fair. I love just super user friendly. The app is great. Great reviews too. Like Earthgrown Kids have great reviews. I just added a new one called Tubworks, and you've probably seen targeted ads because they're going hard with their targeted ads right now. But they had amazing reviews and they were like a new company. Again, loved the packaging. So we just added those like a month ago and they're selling really well.
Awesome. And when it comes to your local vendors, how do you kind of manage them? So do they manage their own retail space or do you kind of clean
Yeah.
it up and let them know when you need to order more?
I love this question. I feel like this is my little secret, like weapon. I do consignment for our local vendors.
Okay.
It's worked really well. I've worked at the Kinks now. I'm really strict on like what my expectations are because it's such a like well-oiled machine. I just can't veer away from it. So, people will approach me or I will go to local markets and see something that I like, and then I'll approach them. Hey, do you want to be in my shop? And so they do consignment. I don't charge them a fee to display their items at all. So if they don't sell anything that month, they don't pay anything. I also don't make anything either, but the benefit to them is that they are showcased in a high traffic play place for free. And then every month I go and I print out my square reports and I send them a screenshot of their like inventory sales, and they get their 60% and the Play Cafe gets our 40% for all the marketing and the credit card fees and all those things. So it's worked really well.
Interesting. And people are pretty receptive to that.
They are, and if they're not, they don't sell here.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we used to charge a flat fee just because I didn't want to deal with it. But it
Yeah,
sounds like you said, a well-oiled machine. So with the right systems in
yeah,
place,
yeah.
I love that approach.
We do like they have to, we pay through Zelle for accounting purposes, like Zelle, it's all one place. So I just sit down on like the second or third of the month and I print out all my reports and I just pay everyone. And then for accounting, like I can mention I can notate it and it comes up on my account. And so um, you have to have Zelle and you have to have your own packaging and branding and you have to have a business Instagram or Facebook. I'm not tagging your personal Facebook because I don't want any
Right.
strange things coming up if I'm helping promote you. So yeah, so those things I just kind of lay it out. We do consignment. This is the percentage. You have to be paid through Zelle. You have to tag all your own products. I'm not tagging your products or adding descriptions or anything like that. So yeah, I kind of lay that out first and then I let them give them the opportunity to say like, oh, that sounds great. Let's move forward. Or like, oh no, never mind. That's fine too.
Very cool. And with I know you pay through Zelle,
Mhm.
but what system are you currently using? Like what's your point of sale system for the
Yeah.
retail items?
We have Acuity for booking and then Square. So all of our inventory, I have a Square POS here, which I don't love, but it's working and I just added it all online, which was really nice because the inventory was already in Square. So Square reports are really user friendly, in my opinion. I give every vendor their own category. And so it's like their business name and then maybe like their actual like name. And then at the end of the month, I just separate by category and that works well.
Very cool. And do you find that they are kind of promoting their products in your business? So I know you're tagging them, but do they tag you as well sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. So because I mean it's mutually beneficial. They want my followers. I mean, our Instagram is doing well. Um, And so that's also means something to me too. Like I do go for vendors that have a decent following because we need to benefit each other. I would like to get their demographic and then they're also getting ours. Or we do a lot of collaboration posts, tagging them, or like even location is helpful. I also offer to people like to use our spot as a pickup spot. So there's a local baker that lives really close. She bakes out of her home. And so she always does her pickups for like holiday boxes or Father's Day boxes or Mother's Day boxes to bring people in, and then people aren't going to her house. And it's now that we've expanded, I have the space to do that. A year ago, I would have not been able to be like a pickup spot for anyone else, but
Yeah.
that helps.
And so you don't charge her, you just appreciate the extra traffic.
Yeah.
And it's
Because there's
really
not much effort. She's paying it. I'm not accepting any payment. That's the other thing. People are paying her directly. So I'm not accepting anybody's payment. I'm not paying any credit card fees. They have to come within my business hours. It's just like her and we do a lot together. So it's kind of just a nice little trade-off. She does cookie decorating classes here. So there's other ways that we make money together, but those quick things, it's maybe like 10 people for Mother's Day. Doesn't cost us much. And some people aren't our normal demographic and they are like completely wowed, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was here. And let me buy a couple things in retail, especially like grandparents. Like she gets a lot of older clientele that buy her cookie kits and they always end up like grabbing a couple things for the grandkids on their way out.
Yeah, it's so funny. You think as a parent that you're always going to be like in the know, but
Yeah.
it's so funny how like once you leave a certain age bracket, how fast you become out of the loop. Like my middle child is going to be 9 tomorrow or in 2 days. And then I have a 1 year old and thought everything was kind of the same. And now I'm
Yeah.
finding all of these play spaces that popped up, all of these classes, like
Yeah.
there's so much that has changed in like the toddler landscape.
Yeah.
I'm very much like in the kids play industry, obviously, but
Yeah.
I let some of these places right in my hometown like slip under the radar. So
Yeah.
it's funny how like if you're not actively like Googling, if you're not actively like seeking these people
Yeah.
out on social, how you can be out of the loop in your own area. So it's so great to get any
Yeah.
traffic. And
Yeah.
you would have to pay money to advertise to those people otherwise. So any way
Exactly.
to get people in the door, I think is great. And they might tell their friends, they might tell their
Yeah.
friends. So that's very
Yeah.
cool. And it's great that you have retail items for your
Yeah. That has helped because I'm 5 and under only. We kind of lose people once their youngest or their only child goes to kindergarten. They don't have a need to come in here to play anymore. But the expanded retail has really helped expand our demographic because you don't need to play and people still come for that. So that I'm always like I don't ever see myself branching outside of 5. Like I don't, people always ask me, do you think you'll go? Never. That's not my gifting. That is not my desire. My desire is for the 5 and under. And so this is my way of kind of reaching that other demographic of parents of kids that are over 5.
do you think it'll be tough as your kids kind of get older?
To be honest, I think it's going to be easier. If I could change something, I would have probably waited till my kids were in school. I I really, silly me, naive 2023 Justine really thought I could have my kids here more. And we all have learned very quickly that we can't. And so if I were to do it again, I would have probably waited till they were in school full time because I can be here more. Because I don't bring them with me rarely. They only come for like special events, and I have to make sure like my husband is here helping me, supporting me with them, or my parents or whatever. So no, I kind of feel I thought it would be like a year ago, I would have answered this question differently, but now I'm excited to go to other businesses for older kids and be just a customer and not anyone know me. I make sure I don't wear my branded anything. I don't take my branded water bottle. Like I like to kind of sneak in and just be a customer in the older spaces.
Yeah, and it's funny if you do wear branded stuff or like make a big deal out of it, people are like, "Oh, does she have ulterior motives or is she
She's
checking out?"
spying.
Yeah. So I completely understand that.
Yes.
Hard, I was very much like the face of my business
Yeah.
and I felt like I enjoyed going places less.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
everybody knew me, everyone recognized me, and I feel like people were always like judging my parenting as like someone in the play
100%.
industry. And
Yes.
my kids always made a point to, embarrass me.
Go crazy. Well, and my space is named after my children. So if we're out and about and I'm like, Olivia, Livy, stop it. Mimi, don't do that. Then they're like, Liv, Mimi, are you Liv and Mimi? And I'm like,
That is so
I
funny.
would also, it's not their government names. Their names are Olivia and Naomi, but Liv and Mimi have been their nicknames since we were born. So it's hard not to call them their nicknames in public. And yeah, people immediately it's become like a household name. Like it's not even Live in so the full name is Live in Mimi's Play Cafe. And now it's just Live in Mimi's, Live in Mimi's. Even in my Instagram posts, I'm like, come to Live in Mimi's this week at Live in Mimi's. Like it's just a quicker name. And so we were at Great Wolf Lodge in Colorado and someone recognized us. It's like, oh no.
Funny. And you know what? I used to like when I first started in this industry, I used to kind of like not look down on, but I used to, not really love the spaces named after people's children because I was like, oh, customers aren't going to be able to relate to it or
Yeah.
it will be harder to sell. And honestly, I have completely changed my tune just because there have been so many play cafes opening. It's really hard to find a unique name. There
Yeah.
are a million, village names
Yeah.
and town names. Like
Mama this,
it's
mama that. Yeah.
yeah, it's so hard to be unique. And naming the space after your children, even though there are, pros and cons to every situation,
Yeah.
honestly, I think the pros far outweigh the cons right now because
Yeah.
the market has become so booming.
Yeah.
I recommend it now more than ever. And it makes it so that people will hear the name out of
Yeah.
context and
Yeah.
recognize you. And that is such
Yeah.
a powerful testimonial to that because, oh my gosh, I was trying to find a link the other day. I forget what business it was, but I typed it in and like 10 came up and I was like, shoot. And I had to like comb through and they all had
Yeah.
different Instagrams and like it's hard because you have a website and then you have an Instagram handle. Oh, but that Instagram handle is taken on TikTok. And so now you have to have something different. And it's so hard to have cohesive branding when you choose such a common like buzzword name. So I
Yes.
actually love that you did that. And I want to come back. This would be a really great segue into kind of your opening process,
Yeah.
but I really don't want to let you off the hook yet because I didn't realize that your background was so strong in like merchandising and retail. And we
Yeah.
don't talk enough about it, honestly, on this podcast. So before we kind of take a step back and go
Yeah.
into kind of the conception, oh my gosh, not literally the conception of Live and Mimi's, but
That's a different podcast.
I should edit that out, but I'll leave. It just, now I'm blushing. Anyways, before
Yeah.
we get into the conception
The
of
Play Cafe, Live in Mimi's.
the cafe, taking a quick step back because again, I don't want to let you off the hook.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for people that want to expand their retail section when it comes to like displaying, when it comes to
Yeah.
organizing, choosing vendors? I know you mentioned that packaging is really important,
Yes.
and having a business Instagram and all that stuff. But do you have any other tips for anyone kind of looking to expand their retail section? Because I know diversification of retail streams
Yeah.
is super important.
Yeah. I first off, like if anyone wants to message me directly, like I love talking about this. I could talk about it all day. The local consignment has been great. We had chatted about some of the things like on the questions you sent me before about like local partnerships. And one of the very first partnerships I had was with a toy store here in town. And it just really set me up for success. She's phenomenal. We're still really great friends. She let me do pop-up play dates in her space in this like corner area of her toy store. She just like put a post up one day and was like, hey, if anyone has like a Girl Scout group or like a knitting, you want to teach knitting or Boy Scouts, whatever, like you have this free space you can use. And so I used to do pop-ups when I was doing my market research well before I was ready to open. And so when I did, so the relationship began then. And so then when I was ready to open, she essentially loaned me like $500 worth of retail to sell. And so my little retail shelves when I opened were not empty. And then I paid her as they sold. And then now I've gotten to the place where like I'm obviously buying my own things. So that was really great for me. And it's mutually beneficial because we're pretty far away from each other. So we're not like direct competition. So we're really feeding each other customers from like diagonally across the city. So if there's any type of partnership like that, I would suggest when you're first starting out to really kind of look for someone within the same demographic, not too much of competition, but like definitely someone who could be mutually beneficial. Um, and then just trying things. I really kind of try something out with like smaller minimum purchase like minimum requirements. That's the other really great thing about partnering with her is that we can kind of split an order. So one of our number one selling toys is the Spin Again from FatBrain. Well, FatBrain's minimum order is like $350, which is like $700 of retail, which is if you don't have the space to store $700 worth of FatBrain products, like that's kind of hard. I didn't have a lot of space when I first started. And so it was really helpful that we kind of split that minimum order together. And so just getting people on your side and in your corner is really helpful. Does that does that answer the
Yes.
question? Did I go off on a tangent?
You'll have to send me a photo of your
Yeah.
updated retail section. I don't think I've seen it since you've
Do you want to see it really quickly?
absolutely. If you're
It's just
listening as a podcast, you might have to go to YouTube. I apologize.
yeah. So this is our retail space. We actually just added this wall. So this is our entrance. And my dad just added this wall, which helps the kiddos kind of filter straight to the playroom. Um, Let me get the lighting will adjust. So this is our retail space right now.
Wow,
Um,
it's huge. It's bigger than I expected.
it's pretty big. I love it. It has given me like the dopamine hit that I need.
Great.
So yeah, about half. This is like
I
our
love
Christmas
the peg.
stuff.
I love the peg. That's what I was kind of getting at with like the
Yeah.
merchandising and display. I love how that looks.
I definitely would suggest like all these movable things that you can like adjust. I love doing that. Like I will switch things up to keep it fresh. This is like another tip. Sorry, the lighting gets really bad when there. I'll even just like roll the display around. So like every other week, I just flip it.
That.
And so that people, if you're coming in, I'll go back to my better lighting
You
spot
see
now.
something
If
different.
you're
I love
coming
it.
in, after this, I'll send you a video so you can add it.
Yeah.
If you're coming into the play space and you're seeing everything from the entrance, and then there's like obviously the visuals of as you're leaving. And so sometimes I really just flip a rotation, and then people who come weekly, they'll be like, "Oh, you have new stuff," and I'm like, "No, I just flipped the rotation. I just flipped the display."
That's something that you learn when you work
Yeah,
in retail and
yeah,
merchandising. It's like those little psychological,
yeah.
I don't like to say tricks because it's not malicious.
Yeah, it's just
The
like,
little
yeah,
things.
marketing. I worked in a lot of spaces through Christmas. Like I worked at Mervyn's, I worked at Sam Goody, I had 33 jobs before I opened my own business
Oh, wow.
because my personality type and who I don't do well under authority. I need to be my own boss. And so I had lots of like seasonal job and I love just working. Like from the time I was like 15, I always wanted to work a little summer job or a little Christmas job. And so I did a lot of different jobs within like our malls here. I lived in Haiti for a while and I worked for a artisan company in Haiti. So even just like what I learned in another country. I had a bakery in Haiti. So I pull from lots of different like life experience. Um, but yeah, I love it. It's been a good challenge for me because open play is like, it works so well and birthday parties are even a well-oiled machine. I get a little bit bored. And so because it's working so well, I don't want to get stale. No one else thinks it's stale, but I got a little bit bored. And so the retail constantly changing the seasons and what to buy and where to display it. And as things sell down, you have to change your display and group it in a smaller group if your display is empty. And then you have to fill the display again. And like that is just enough of a continuous challenge for me I love it.
And it's so important to have that part of your business that gives you that real
Yeah.
dopamine. Like for me, it was the party planning, like without
Yeah.
it, like people would always ask, like, why don't you do more open play on the weekends? And I'd be like, because parties are what fills my cup to deal
Yeah.
with the rest of the business.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah. Really.
so
To keep me from getting burnt out.
yeah, well, that is great. And two follow-up questions again before we move on. Um, you mentioned around like a 50% profit margin with like Fat Brain and some of the
Yeah.
other retailers. Is 50% generally what you're seeing or what you're aiming for in
Yeah.
margin?
That's about that is kind of the norm or that's really what I go for. So if I'm looking at a brand on Fair and they're only at like 40 or 30, like unless it's something like I absolutely have to have, then I'm gonna choose a different brand. Which is the benefit with consignment is they're getting more, they're getting 60% because they're trusting me to essentially store their stuff and sell it and it not get like stolen or damaged or ruined or whatever. So they get a higher amount. if sample something and it sells well and I'm ready to purchase it outright wholesale, then they give me 50% because the benefit is that I'm buying it outright and I own it. So if it gets stolen, that's my loss. If it gets broken, stained, that's my loss. So there's that benefit. But yeah, I go for 50 is what I'm always looking for.
Perfect. And then last question about retail. Do you sell online retail as well, or just mainly in person?
Yeah, so I just recently put it online probably about 2 months ago. I was preparing for Christmas. And it's kind of funny because me and my employee who does all my marketing and email and website and stuff, I had been saying I want to get this online. I just didn't know how. I was a little overwhelmed, like what platform I wanted to use. I was overwhelmed because I had so much inventory already. I just didn't even know how to go about it. And so we are poking around on my Square site, and it was literally just a toggle button. And I toggled it over, and it was like, "You're online." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great, let's do it." So Square now, yeah, it's online, and we can do a local pickup option. So I've really been pushing that. When I announced it about 2 months ago, I was hoping to work out all the kinks, and I had to get like better photos because before our whole inventory was just the photos didn't matter. It could be a blurry photo or not blurry, but like a bad lighting photo because it was just for my employees to see on the POS. So I had to go in and put like better photos and bright, well lit photos and everything. And so I've been telling lots of parents, you can shop from your couch and then just pick it up when you come to play, and then we'll box it up, we'll wrap it. And so they're like, oh my gosh, this is so great because sometimes they get to shop while their kids are playing, sometimes they can't. And so, yeah, it's online and it's new and it's very young, but it's getting there.
Very cool. I wonder, would you ever do like pickup during a birthday party, like if a guest brings it?
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So this weekend, we have birthday parties all day on Sunday, but I'm just going to be sitting here. Like once the party is up and then our retail space is by the front. Obviously, the birthday parties are by the back or towards the back. I'm putting that we do have shopping hours this Sunday from 9 to 12 because I'll be here working a party and there's not much to do once you get the party going. And so I'm kind of giving it a go this weekend. Check back with me.
Yeah, I will have to. It's really cool that you have that separation of space so that you can realistically kind of do both.
Yeah.
And did you take those better, well lit photos yourself, or did you outsource it?
So here's the benefit with Fair. Fair has all these really great photos. So all you do is save the photo from Fair and then I upload Fair's photo on my website. So I really don't have to take a lot and I just do it by myself because the app is so user friendly from my phone while I'm here. I just take them myself. And that's mostly like local people. Another benefit with like a lot of the products that come off of Fair on Square, there's this odd when you're adding an item, you can scan the UPC. I don't know what the backside of this looks like because it's about 80% of the products I buy, but when you scan their barcode, it uploads all their information. So it uploads their photo, their description, their UPC, their measurement, like everything. It's gotten really user friendly. Every now and then I'll buy something and I scan and it's like not fair. But I usually just go save a photo from Fair and it's a beautiful flat lay or whatever the manufacturer has made.
And what about local? Do they typically provide their own photos?
Some of them, like my t-shirt girl, she does like the really great like mock-ups where she'll make it with the flat lay mock-up, and so she'll always send me those. But if not, yeah, you'll notice the ones that I do myself. I always do it like in front of our rainbow because one, the lighting is really great from the window, but then it's just kind of brand recognition again. Like for me, the murals are like what helps set me apart. That like whoever is taking a photo, you see that big mural in the back, like they're at Live in Mimi's. You see these rainbows, which they run the whole length of the room, so you know where it's taken. And so I kind of take all of my photos in front of that to kind of keep it cohesive.
Very cool. So that actually is a great segue.
Mm.
Can you talk a little bit? I know we like really dove deep onto the retail stuff
Yeah.
because I'm so interested in it.
Yeah.
But to take a step back, can you talk a little bit about your vision behind the business, how you came up with the branding? I know it was very strategic.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of dive into more like general operation stuff.
Yeah. So Liv and Mimi are my daughter's name, Olivia and Naomi. I had two under two post-COVID. There was no like mom groups, there was no library story time, there wasn't anything to do. And here in Albuquerque, there wasn't anything post-COVID like a play space, a play cafe. There were things pre-COVID, but I didn't have kids pre-COVID, so I don't know anything about them. I never got to visit them. There is like a science children's museum, but it's way over the heads of like toddlers. It's more like STEM related field trip type. So that I created it because of like the need that I had as a stay-at-home mom with two kids. You know, you go to a park and if you have more than one kid, they're just like they always want to go opposite directions. This one was like running to the pond. This one's running to the parking lot, or you're finding gross stuff in the park at a park. No one's cleaning the park. No one is like managing kids who are too big or too rough. So that's kind of where the whole idea came from is that it came from a place of like desperate need that I needed this place for myself as a stay-at-home mom with two kids. And then my girls' birthdays are in August and December. And so too hot and too cold to have a party outside. And our home is just not, we do not have a big home. It is not designed for entertaining. So I really needed a birthday party venue for myself. And apparently so did everyone else in Albuquerque. So selfishly, it was all everything I needed.
Well, that's, I mean, that your own personal experience often draws the best inspiration. So I love that. Um, Now about the kind of startup process, can you talk us a little bit about your startup process? Did anything surprise you about that process? Did you run into any issues?
My startup, it happened so fast. So I had been, I'm trying, so okay, I'm like, how far back do I go? I have an Etsy shop making felt play food, and it was Live in Mimi's Boutique. That's where it started. Mimi was just born, and I was just like making felt food. Well, other play cafes were buying my felt food, either for their play cafe or to like sell in their play cafe. So I didn't really know. I'd not heard the term or didn't even know what a play cafe was until Renee Janofsky is one of my very, very good friends. We lived in Haiti together. And she, around that time, announced that she was opening a play cafe in Michigan. So those two experiences happened at the same time. And so for me, it was like this awakening. I was like, what's a play cafe? Like, this is what I need as a single mom. Single, my God, I am happily married. A stay-at-home mom. This is what I need as a stay-at-home mom of two under two. Like, why don't we have this? And so then I really started searching you out. Like I had found you because of Renee. And so I just like binged all your content for like a year and a half, 2 years of just watching like everything I could get my hands on because there really wasn't a lot on play cafes. If you look up YouTube, like it was rare. All of your content and then Sierra's content, but it was more like social media, not the behind the scenes content. So that was really all I had. And so for like a year and a half, I'm just preparing, not ever thinking it could be something that would actually manifest because we just didn't have any money. Like, we didn't have a ton of capital. I didn't have like a lot. There was just, I didn't feel like a reality. Well, I just wanted it so bad. And one night I was always kind of looking around Albuquerque for a price. I was just like pricing out spaces. And I would see something on a corner. I would say, oh, that'd be a great place. There's great parking. There's great this. I would call, I'd ask the rent, and it would like blow me away. I was like, oh my God, this is never going to happen because the rent is like insane. I can't. And there was nothing else like that here. And so it was just going to be something that had not failed, but had closed down in the past. Other play cafes had closed. And so, all of a sudden one day I'm on Facebook Marketplace one night really late, and I see a Cedarworks play structure on Facebook Marketplace for like $1,200. This structure. And so I like 11 o'clock at night, I was like, I'll take it. I didn't negotiate. I was like, where are you located? I want it. I asked her, is this Cedarworks? And she said, I don't know. So they had no idea the gold mine that they were sitting on. And so I went to check it out the next day, and I called my husband. I said, I'm taking a cash advance on our credit card. Like, I just have to buy this, and I'll store it in a garage until I open a play cafe one day. Like, it's that cheap. I have to have it. So I went to it was a church that was selling it. I went to the church. I gave them the money. I said, can you hold it for me for 2 weeks? And then a friend, the head shop owner who was in the space that I expanded to, she had a friend of a friend, and they had told me about my first side. And they said, there's this space, it's not on the market yet. You should go check it out. And the rent was like half of what I had seen everywhere else. And so I came to look at it, and I loved it. And I met the landlord, and I told them my concept, and they were kind of like, that's weird, but okay, we'll give it a shot. I loved we have all these windows. We have like 8 windows. and we're 3 doors down from a coffee shop. And so it was just like the unicorn I had been looking for a year and a half. The rent was right. I have no desire to do food service because my background is in retail. And so I really wanted to be like across the street or next door or something to a coffee shop so that my parents could just go through a drive-through at like a Dunkin' or a Starbucks or wherever and bring their coffee here because there's no shortage of coffee shops in Albuquerque. There was a shortage of indoor play. So it was all the best things. 3 doors down was a coffee and donut shop. There was great windows. The rent was great. It was like down the street from the church that I bought the play structure from. So it all just happened really, really fast that we were not prepared. So I signed the lease for like 30 days later, like a month later, they gave me like 2 months rent and it just happened. So we worked out a lot of the kinks along the way.
That's so great. So, kind of, I know you just had your 2-year anniversary, and
Yeah,
congratulations again, by
thank
the
you.
way. So, you mentioned, kind of working out the kinks. And one thing that I kind of like wrote in my notes to circle back to is
Yeah.
you mentioned that you have employees now and they're doing things
Yes.
like a marketing. So, can you talk a little bit about your staffing situation now and how
Yeah.
that's differed from when you first opened?
Oh, yeah. I was crazy when I first opened and I thought I could just do it myself. And I worked the schedule. My husband works nights, so I worked mornings, and I really kind of burnt myself out in the first like 3 months. I kind of did everything by myself, all the birthday, everything. And then I had an employee, my employee now, my manager now, she lives across the street and she walked in, she's a doula. So half of her clients are also my clients. And so she came in with one of her doula clients was like, this is so great. I love walking distance. Do you need help? And it was like, yes, I desperately need help. And so she's been a godsend. Because I live pretty far, I live 30 minutes away on the west side, and she lives across the street. So it really helps sometimes when we're like, hey, the plumber is outside, or like there was a package left at the door. Can you run by? Or every now and then I get stuck in traffic in the morning. I'm like, I'm stuck in traffic. Can you open the door? I'm gonna be 10 minutes late. So she was my first like hire. And then I've had some other seasonal like students that have come. We now have 4 employees because I was running myself into the ground and I was limiting my business because of my schedule. So I was like, I'm not going to take a birthday party on that day because my husband works or because I couldn't find a sitter or like because I have my own family event. And I realized a lot too, like even with the Playmakers Live this year, like I'm not going to be as successful as I can be if I'm limiting my business to just me. And if we get sick, if we need a vacation, if we get sick, if something were to happen to us, like this business cannot just run on me. And so I've been giving up the reins a little bit more, not being so much of a control freak, and opening the schedule and saying, like, I'm just gonna assign my staff. And you gave me your availability, you're working that party. You gave me if you don't request it off, like you're scheduled. So it's definitely still a work in progress. I'm not where I want to be, but it has helped a ton from when we first opened. I was burning the candle at both ends.
And how have you kind of like felt comfortable letting go of the reins? Do you have systems, cheat sheets? Do you,
Yeah.
have a certain training system? Like, how has it felt, and what kind of things are you using to make it easier?
The expansion really made a huge difference because I feel like before when we just had the other side, every party was different. Every party was like, well, moving the tables this way, and then you got to hang this that way. And there was no like system, like a standard. And now the way that we do our parties, the tables don't move. That's where they are. Like the extent of what we do is we push them together to make a banquet table. And for open play, we separate them so that strangers don't have to all sit together. That's it. Like, and then we added a grid wall, like a metal grid wall on our party wall. And that's the only place you can hang decorations. And there's clips already there. And you can tie, tape, clip your balloon garland. We have like a set number of balloons. You make this balloon garland. We do bundles of 6. You're doing 6 bundles of 6. So they all look uniform. So having this like expanded party space has made a huge difference with just things being able to stay where they need to stay. Where before everything was like a Murphy's bed. You had to like fold it out and pull this out and put that away and put this up. And it was so much work that I had to make sure it went well. And now it's all set up all the time, really. And so I also just planning ahead using a calendar. plan, okay, we've got a full decor or something. We're gonna make sure we've got all of that in a box and a bundle, and the balloon garland is ready, and just trust them that it goes up. And checklists, we have like laminated checklists. So you use a dry erase marker to make sure we're all on the same page.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned that someone was kind of doing email marketing and things like that. I know often marketing is kind of like the last thing that people let go because it is so important.
Yeah.
So is that person that's kind of handling that like a remote worker, or is it
Mhm.
somebody that works in person? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Uh, so she is actually a customer, a parent that just early on came in and was like, I love what you're doing. I just want to be part of it somehow. How can I be a part of this? And it kind of took a while, like on like months, probably like 6 months of being like, well, do you want to do this? And do you want to do that? And then like it just we couldn't really get to a place where she was working in the store here in the Play Cafe. And so then it came, I didn't have a website when we first opened. I just had Acuity. I just had my booking website, which is it's okay. It served its purpose. And I wasn't doing email at all, even though everything you've ever said is like, you need to do email. And I just was so against it. And so it really got to the point where I was like, okay, we can't not have a website. We can't not do email marketing. I had already collected like 1,200 emails. And then it was around the time that TikTok went away for like what, 48 hours or something. And I'm pretty sure it was you who had said, like, you don't own TikTok or Instagram. Like, it's going to go away.
One, it's not an original thought, but I
Yeah.
do often say that.
Yeah. But it changed that, like, changed because I put so much into Instagram. I was like, if I lost my Instagram tomorrow, like, I'm screwed. So, and you had said, like, you own your email list. And so at that point, and then when I looked into, when I talked to her about, like, hey, is this something you would want to do? And she's like, absolutely. This is like what I'm great. So she designed my website. She edits the website. And then we only send one newsletter a month. And I really just, I'm able to give up the reins because I just send her like, the flyers and the links. And she does such a great job. Like it's just people always compliment our newsletter. Oh, I love your newsletter. It was so cute. Um, so that was huge. And then seeing the numbers grow, like seeing the email grow, the open rate grow, seeing the revenue that comes from the newsletter, all of that just like confirmation that like we should have done this a long time ago.
So you'd say it has made a significant difference?
Huge. Yeah. Well, and I had learned
Imagine if you emailed more than once a month.
I know. Well, this month I said, I think I need to send 2 emails because we have so much going on and there's like a Santa breakfast. I'm like, I want Santa breakfast to have its own email. I don't want it to get lost in the email. So I'm getting there.
Well, don't forget, I always tell people this, and I know this isn't a coaching call, but selling, i.e., emailing, is
Yeah.
serving. Like, what a disservice. If you're putting on an amazing Santa event, you're working so hard on it, you're being so careful with planning it, it would be a disservice to not tell people who have already raised their hands and said, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Be a disservice. What if they missed it? What if they didn't open that email? They're getting so many emails right now from so many different businesses. You would be doing them truly a disservice if you let
Yeah.
them miss out on it because you were too afraid to
And
email.
I see that now. I also was shocked at how many of my customers are like, oh, I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. So many people are like tired and burnt out with like the negativity online. So like that was also another thing is that I had nowhere to send them. I didn't have a website to send them to, and I didn't have an email. And so that was another eye-opening. Like so many people didn't use social media and they were missing out on every announcement. And so yeah, now we have like, email subscribers get first dibs on these events and then it goes on to socials. So game changer.
Perfect. So I know we've talked about so much. We've talked about expanding into a new space. We've talked about expanding your retail. We've talked about what you've changed with parties and staffing. Um, One question that I like to ask to kind of wrap things up is what would you kind of tell your pre-opening self if you can go back, or what advice would you give to somebody who is, maybe browsing Facebook Marketplace at 11 p.m. and thinking about doing this?
And sees a cedar work structure.
Yeah. What would you tell, that person?
Oh man. I would tell them not to rush. Um, don't like force something into happening. It worked out for me. But
because
that's probably not always the case.
yeah, but you waited. I mean, you could have gotten wrapped up in the first super expensive place you saw and just
Yeah.
accepted that, hey, that's what rent is in my area.
Yeah.
And you'd probably be in a very different place right now, honestly. So
Yeah. I would also say like ask for help and accept help because I'm sure a lot of our personality types as entrepreneurs and business owners and like go-getters, we want to do it all and we think we can work the whole schedule. You cannot. You cannot work the whole schedule. You will, just ask for help and then accept that help and get a team behind you, get support. My husband has been an amazing support, but more like at home and outside of the actual space. And you need both. You need your support at home, so whatever that means, and then you need your support here in the building because you can't be in all places at one time. There's gonna be a day where someone wants to check out, someone has had an accident, the toilet is clogged. Like you cannot spread yourself so thin. You won't last. Sustainability will not happen if you try to do it all.
totally. And for me, I also needed like, I know you feel the same, but like connecting with other business owners, even if it's online,
Yes.
I needed to like commiserate with people that got it because even like the support at home, the support, in person, like the team was great, but I like needed to vent to other owners. So have you found that helpful too?
Okay. Renee had been telling me to join Playmakers since the beginning. And I was like, I this is embarrassing to tell you. But I was just like, that's just not an expense I wanted to spend because it felt like it wasn't going to be as intimate as it is. Like I had no idea how beneficial the private Facebook group would be. I had no idea. You know what really did it for me was your first live event. I missed it. Obviously, I didn't know what was happening because I wasn't in Playmakers. And I saw everyone all together and it was like, oh, this isn't just some like online group that never manifests and it made the like I have to do this, like this is not just some, because you hear that all the time. You hear on YouTube, my husband was studying for like ASVAB and it was like part of this group, but like they were never going to get together in real life. They don't talk to each other in real life. It's all like online, like a chat group, like a chat room. I age myself again. And it was like the reality of being in this group in our private safe Facebook group because we've all been in other Facebook groups that aren't as safe. You can't be vulnerable. You can't even really trust the advice you're getting. And so I do love that you have these like rules or guidelines that you have to be in, but you have to have either gone through the whole series or have been in business. So it's not just the dreamers and it's a safe place. And that has been huge. So as soon as
I'm
I got the
glad.
email for live 2026,
Yeah, and
I
it's
bought it.
I I like it too because I know a lot of people like get intimidated by the yearly live events because they have to travel and a lot of people aren't in the position to travel, but honestly, there's so much that happens in person in the group between the live events. Like people are
Yeah,
always visiting each other. They're
yeah,
constantly meeting up with other owners in their area, or if they're traveling, they'll meet up
yeah,
with another owner. Every
yeah,
single time I take a vacation, I visit somebody in the group.
yeah.
I like have honestly planned my vacations around like
Really?
looking at like I we went to South Carolina and I took like we stayed at Airbnbs up the coast so I could visit Tal. I visited
Yeah,
at Art Factory in Virginia. I went to all these different play spaces and we took like a little East Coast tour back in
yeah,
2021 when everything was kind of opening back up. So a lot of people think, oh, I could, I have young kids. I'm just opening, I can't do the annual live events, but there's so much that happens in between them too. But anyways, enough about that. I want to know where we can follow you if we want to learn more about you or your business.
yes. We're most active on Instagram at Live in Mimi's Play Cafe. We do have a Facebook. We are on TikTok, but we're definitely probably the most active and behind the scenes on our Instagram. We have a website, www.liveinmimisplaycafe.com, where you can find a quick and easy link to the boutique too. So,
Perfect. Yes, I'm definitely going to go check that out after this call, but I will link everything in the show notes if you are listening as a podcast or in the video description if you are watching on YouTube. But thank you, Justine, so much for your time and energy. I know we kind of went totally rogue on our
I
conversation,
know.
but it was so valuable. A lot of the stuff we covered is stuff that I never get a chance to cover with other people because I think really shining in retail is unique a
Yeah.
lot of people have great cafes, a lot of people have great classes, but it's pretty
Yeah.
unique to have, a really strong retail section. So thank you again for your time
Thank
and
you.
energy and taking us on the little tour. If you
Yeah.
listen to the podcast, you'll have to go, check the YouTube video, but thank you so
Yeah.
much. And I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for everything you do. The content was just a lifesaver, and I know it's a lot to get us all together, but we really appreciate it. And so it's like such a round, what's the word? Like a moment that I get to, I've
Full circle.
been full circle, thank you, round, sounds like. It's such a full circle moment. I was telling my husband today, being interviewed by you is so surreal and so emotional because I binged your content for years, and now to be in your inner circle just is so surreal to me, and I don't take it lightly. So it's an honor. Thank you.
Well, I can't wait to follow you along and or follow along with you. And wow, we're really just it's
We're
nighttime.
tired. The sun is setting. Can you tell my lighting changed?
But what I was gonna say is we'll have to do an update episode,
Okay,
maybe next year and see how you've expanded even more. But
I
thank
would
you
love
so
that.
much. All right, that wraps up my conversation with Justine from Live and Mimi's Play Cafe. Again, follow along with Justine on social media. I've linked everything in the video description if you're watching on YouTube or in the podcast show notes if you're listening wherever you get your podcasts. And if you have a guest suggestion or if you'd like to come on this podcast and share your story, or if you'd like to do a coaching call episode, or if you have any podcast or video topics or any questions that you'd like me to answer, I would love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram or leave me a comment. All right, have a great week, Playmakers. I will see you soon. Bye for now.